Namaste and hello everyone. My name is Shivika and I help you navigate life through my experiences, lessons, and stories. Today's video is extra special because I'm going to be reminiscing so many moments from the last 8 years. And yes, 8 years it's been since I first set foot in this country back in 2016 as an international student. In September, I will be completing 8 years, and I thought, why not share the 8 lessons in the last 8 years that I've learned living in the UK. To give you some context, and it's story time, I moved to the UK back in 2016 as an international student from my hometown, that is New Delhi, and I moved here to study Masters in International Relations from Warwick University. How I went about that and what really led me to choose the UK or choose Warwick as a university is a topic for another video, but for this video, I'm going to start with all the lessons that I learned as an international student and then as a business person in the UK. You will find your clique. The first lesson that any international student needs to know or needs to understand, or I understood within a span of a few weeks, is that you will eventually find your clique. I know it's hard, and I know that a lot of times we feel that we're not finding friends and we're not finding the right kind of people to hang out with, or we're hanging out with a lot of people, but eventually, as time flies and as time passes, and as you meet more and more people, you will find the right kind of people who fit best with you and who you feel more like home, and eventually call them your family. The second lesson that I learned over the last few years is that you will call a random room your home. We do leave our homes behind and our families behind when we move to a new country or we move to a new city. And it is a lot of hard work, which only people who have done it realize it. But then the first time that I moved into the UK and I had to find my accommodation, I still remember landing without an accommodation. And I was staying over at the Lakeside Apartments in on campus with one of my friends for the first night. And the second day, then I went and inquired about the apartments that I actually wanted to stay in, and the rooms were available. Very funny story for another video again, but yes, the room was finally available, and it was a studio apartment where I was going to live. I don't know, but over the next 8 to 10 months, the place became home. I was so close to my apartment or my surroundings, because maybe because I spent so much time being by myself and doing things for myself in those four walls, inside those four walls, and it just became very close to me. And over the years living in the UK, I have moved houses and I have called each of those places my home. But when I look back in hindsight today, 8 years back, or even last year when I was thinking about this, I thought to myself, how is it that a random room can become your home? For instance, this room over here where I've been living for a few years now is home. I refer to this as home, and it's very close to me for obvious reasons, because this is where I am me, my most authentic self, I will say. Now, the third lesson that I learned was never say never. I decided to pursue my undergrad in political science from Delhi University and then a master's in international relations from Warwick University, only to join United Nations someday. And that was the plan. I knew that is what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something that helps humanity in some way, or I could leave an impact. 1.5 years later, or not even 1.5 actually, 1 year later, I switched careers. I decided to start my own venture, and I was endorsed by the University of Warwick on the Tier 1 Graduate Entrepreneur Scheme. I pitched my business idea for the first time ever in front of a panel of 4 people, and my idea was selected, my business plan was accepted, my proposal was accepted, and then I was allowed to stay back in the country for 1 more year to research and build my business idea. Had you asked me this in early 2016, will I ever start a business in the UK? I'll be like, I don't know. I mean, that sounds tough, different, something I've not thought about, something that's not part of the plan yet. I wanted to start a business, but not soon after uni, and definitely not in the UK. It was never part of the picture. But when that happened, I realized one should never say never, because you just don't know that the higher force will open up doors for you, will open up opportunities for you, which you might not realize in the first place, but they will come to you, and you just need to either accept them or just look at them as an open door full of opportunities. Why I say that is because I did want to stay back, but to like work for a bit and see how things go. But there was no plan of staying back in the UK ever. Like 2016, we did not even have the post study work visas. So everybody knew we're going back. Soon after university gets over, everybody's going to fly back to their home countries unless they get a sponsored job, which was very difficult back in the day. So, something like this happening, something that I had not imagined at all, having a business visa or having the graduate entrepreneur visa, that too sponsored by my university, and then launching my business idea was something mind blowing when I think of it in hindsight. In that moment, I was like, going with the flow, let's see what happens, let's see if they accept my business plan, and whether or not, if I even get selected after my pitch. But all of that happened, and 8 years later, I'm still here. So never say never. The fourth lesson that I learned, but something that I always knew as well, is family is everything. I've been raised to be respectful of my elders, and that family is everything, and everybody needs to sit together and eat together and celebrate festivals together. We're just brought up in that way where we're taught that family is here, it's number one, it's priority, there's nothing above that. And I was always, in my early years as well, always taught the importance of family, that it's important, it's priority, you need to respect everyone, there should be love and harmony, and if anything goes wrong, you always forgive and forget. And like most of us, I am so close to my family that they mean the world to me. My parents mean everything to me. In simple words, I can just say that if there is God, it's parents. Like, they're there for you for everything, and they will never wish bad upon you. And over the years that I've been living away from them, I realized how important is a family, how important is their love, their support, their encouragement from a distance, and just talking to them is. I remember back in the day when I had first moved to the UK, I wouldn't call them very often. I would be busy doing things, assignments, parties, meeting people, or just sleeping. I used to sleep a lot during uni, but doing so many things, but not bothering to call. And there was no specific reason. It wasn't something I was ignoring, but it was something I wasn't paying too much attention to. And over the next few years, I realized how important they are to me, how much of a motivation and how much of an inspiration they are to me every time that I'm losing track of things, and every time that I'm not feeling good about myself being here. The worst part of being away from family is that you constantly think about them and their well being. You constantly are worried if everything's fine at home, and if they are keeping well, and if they're not missing you too much, because you know, mothers, they miss so much, they miss their kids so much, and even dads for that matter, miss us so much. So I think over the last few years, I've come to realize that family is the most important aspect of your life, and it's always stayed with me, and it's always going to stay with me. So if you're somebody who hasn't contacted your family in the last few days or few weeks, and if you feel like there's something not right in life, I would say just give them a call and talk to them, because that is going to give you, or that is going to instill in you so much energy, so much motivation, and just so much love. There is so much unconditional love that comes from families, and you should hold it number one, like priority. Never give up on them, and never avoid them for temporary things over here, no matter what. Number five, life takes you places. Accept and embrace them. The reason why I bring this up as a lesson, and that's something close to me, is because I never wanted to be in the UK in the first place. I have family in the United States, and that was my goal since I was in fifth grade, I think, or even before that, because my uncle used to travel back and forth between India and US. And I would see him, I would see how he works. He was an engineer, he is an engineer, and He's so good at what he does. He taught me how to dream big. He taught me how to work hard and achieve bigger goals than what a regular person is thinking of. So, just looking at him, I was always so inspired, and I would always connect it to the fact that he was from India and then in the US, and there's something he's doing there, or there's something he's seeing there that's making him this person who's teaching all of us to dream big, achieve big things, have a big vision, and whatnot. So I always wanted to go to the US to do my master's or to do my undergrad. And I remember that Delhi University launched the 4 year undergraduate program, which was 4 years of undergrad, and not 3 years. And I was so happy. I think I must have been one of the happiest kids because I thought this is my chance to now go to the US because I would not have to waste a year, or I would not have to do 1 year of diploma just to complete my 12 plus 4, which the US requires in most universities. But then, midway through the university, they realized that they don't want to go ahead with it, and they canceled the 4 years and brought it back to 3 years. And a tiny bit, my dreams were shattered because I was sure about one thing, that soon after my undergrad, I'm going to do my master's. I will not be waiting 1 year in between to do anything. Although I did try, because soon after my undergrad, I went to Mumbai to look at Xavier's and their perspectives and what they're teaching, so I can do a 1 year diploma from Xavier's in mass communication or something. But then I dropped that idea as well, and I decided to do my master's from the UK, and that's where UK came into the picture. But 8 years later, I mean, when I first moved to the UK, like I said, I never thought I'm going to stay here. I never thought I'm going to be here for so many years. And I never thought that this is going to be the place which I call home. And again, I would go back to the same idea that life takes you places. Sometimes you just need to accept and embrace it. It was not something I planned, it was not something that I ever imagined or even dreamt of to come here, but it was life. And it was definitely not something that I wanted to stay here. I came here to do my master's and leave back. But then life had different plans for me. And 8 years later, I'm still here. I'm working. I've been on multiple business visas. I've finished my master's from here. I've done a course from Oxford University. I have traveled the world from here. I travel back and forth from India to the UK. I've traveled Europe from here. And I've done so many solo trips. And looking back, I feel it was all written. I don't know why. I mean, the reason will probably come to me in a few years' time, but I guess it's all written and there has to be some reason behind it, but maybe I'll find that later. But for now, I'm really happy where I am. I am content in the idea that this is what it is, and I'm open to the opportunity that it could be something else tomorrow. But when life takes you places and it's life directing you, don't push back too hard. Maybe it is for your good and for your well being. The sixth lesson is totally me, and being here has given me that time in the past 8 years. It is to love solitude and your own company. In the last 8 years, the amount of time I have spent with myself, by myself, doing things for me, doing things around me, just with me, as in the picture, or just with me in the surroundings, is amazing. I'm a person who loves solitude. I'm a person who loves her company. I can spend days without interacting with anyone. That's just me. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I love my company. I know how to look after myself. I know how to use my time productively and also unproductively. I mean, I can binge watch Netflix like crazy, but even productively, it's been 8 years, and I keep going back 8 years, 8 years, 8 years, is because I could have been something totally different. I could have been spoiled. I could have been a negative person. I could have completely given up on things and values that were taught to me. I could have been this person who just does not relate to the 8 year old Shivika, but it didn't happen. And I love being on my own. It's a gift. Not everyone has it. Some people love the company of other people constantly at all times, but I'm somebody, I'm an ambivert, let's put it this way. I can be super friendly. I would love to hang out with people. I would love to hang out with my friends and family. But then, after a long, busy day or a night, I need my me time. The seventh lesson that I learned, and again, this is something that stayed with me in the last few years, is to express gratitude. If you've seen my other videos, you must have come across me sharing the fact that I am an overthinker. I can think about something for hours and hours and hours, and that can really affect me because I am just an overthinker. I mean, I try to avoid it. But something that's helped me in the last many years is to express gratitude for all that I have and all that there is not. For all that I have, I'm every single day thankful. I take a minute or two in the morning or at night or just randomly in the day where I say thank you for everything that I have. And sometimes we can be complaining, why do I not have more resources? Why do I not have more connections? Why do I not have more money? Why can't I travel like 5 times to India or whatever? But how about being thankful for things that there are? Because you meet so many people, the clique I was talking about. So many people you meet early on in your journey, later in their journey, and so many people are going through so many things. But you just come to realize that whatever it is that you have, whatever it is that happened to you, and whatever it is that you're going through right now, positive or negative, you just express gratitude for everything that's been given to you and everything that's been taken away from you. Sometimes the higher force knows more than you. Not sometimes, every time. The higher force knows more than you. And it will take away people and energies from your life that do not align with you, with your energy, with your vision, with your values. And it's important to let them go. It's important to not hold on to memories, people, emotions that do not serve you. I used to always do a small prayer back when I was in India, and I would be like, good night, and I would thank everyone in the world who's done something for me. I would literally have names and some people who I would mention in it. But um, now, what I do is I express gratitude for simple things: good weather, food on my plate, a roof over my head, a healthy body, um, my parents who are keeping well, who are healthy, and then for my family who still loves me, who does not hate me for not achieving enough or for staying away from them at a time when they would love for me to be with them, or for not doing all things that they say, like get married or you should settle down or you should come down, but still having them around and supporting me in whatever it is that I'm doing. And lastly, and that is lesson number 8, is the fact that you are your biggest priority and you are your longest commitment. Not a lot of people will tell you this because they will load you with so many responsibilities and so many duties that you have to fulfill in your life as you grow older. But something that I have learned that's stayed with me, that's going to stay with me forever and ever, and something that I'm going to teach my kids at some point is you are your longest commitment. There's nobody coming to save you, nobody coming to look after you, nobody coming to pay your bills, and nobody coming to stop you from crying or to make your happiness bigger than what it is right now. There will be people supporting all of this, supporting you in your low times, and there will be people cheering up for you in your high times when you've achieved something and when you've achieved your goals or you've done something that you've always wanted to. But in the end, you need to look after yourself. You need to take care of you. You need to make sure that you are looking after your health, your mental well-being. You are looking after anything and everything in your surroundings, because once you start to live by yourself, and especially if you're somebody single, I mean, if you're in a relationship like as a couple or married couple or whatever, then things are a bit different because you are constantly supporting each other. With somebody who's single and living abroad and living by themselves, there's so much that you have to do. And when I say so much, it's like you have to look after your health. So you're probably doing steps and you're going to the gym, then you have to look after your body, then you're going to be cooking meals, then you have to look after your surroundings. I was killing spiders yesterday for an hour looking around where they are. So There's so much that goes on, but then again, it brings us to the realization that nobody's coming to save us. If I want to upskill, if I want to do well in life, if I want to make more money, if I want to have good people around me, I need to make those changes. I need to look within what is it that I want and then give that energy out. Well, this brings us to the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed the 8 lessons and 8 years in the UK. If you know somebody who lives here and would learn something from my lessons, then definitely share this video with them. And if this is you who enjoyed the video and enjoyed learning about my experiences and my lessons in the last 8 years, from an international student to this person who's now running her own business and just juggling life, then do subscribe to the channel. I shall see you in the next video.